Dictionary.com defines an unplanned approach as impromptu, done without preparation, unwitting, done without awareness, spontaneous, done without thought. Wait a minute. That means you guys don't have a plan?
No.
Well, that's dumb. You might as well start the show.
Get out of here. Punk, come down here and start playing around. Yeah, right.
Hey, Dad, can I be on the podcast? Yeah, we'll let you do the intro.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Awesome. Welcome back. Episode 42, Part 2, Pete Fleck. Pete, I know we stopped at some of the cage fighting stuff and talked about your military background and some of the police work you did. Chapter 2.
Yeah,
let's go.
Thanks for having me back again. So I came off of active duty again, my first activation. And you always got to be careful when you tell people I got activated because they immediately think overseas.
Right.
Right. Both times I got activated, they sent me to Fort Benning, Georgia to yell at soldiers and, say horrible things to kids. And, which is
like coaching.
Right.
It's one would look at you and you go, "Hey, son, what are you looking at? Haven't you ever seen a great man before? Eyes front."
I'm gonna use that. With
yeah, no doubt.
Use that with my wife.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
How that goes over.
Oh man, yeah. And I was a reserve drill sergeant, so the worst thing they could do would be to send me home. So
right.
I could yell anything that came into my pretty little head.
Right.
And hey son, you want to sound off for me? Yeah. In the Army, we use our throats for more than swallowing sperm. So let's go.
That's great.
It. Can't say that coaching.
No, you can't say that, especially coaching softball, right?
Softball.
That's no good.
That is a no.
It's weird.
But I'm writing down the other ones.
Right.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, good time. So, came back home, went right back to law enforcement again. I spent over 12 years on our SWAT team. Mm-hmm. Now this part sounds really cool, but it really isn't. I was our first SWAT team sniper.
Oh wow!
Yeah, exactly. My kids.
Super cool.
Yeah, my kids love.
Now the butt.
Here we go. Yeah, the reality of that is usually they'd put me in a bush during a rainstorm to watch a meth lab, and then when the bad guys came home, I'd call the SWAT team, who's nice and warm in the back of the van, watching YouTube videos and drinking hot cocoa. And I go, hey guys, the bad guys are here. Do that fun stuff, and so they chuck in flashbangs, put guys on the ground, high five each other. If they got medals, I got pneumonia. We called it justice. So that's really how it went.
Well, but that went that way though because you were the most experienced member, correct?
That went that way. I had gotten, and I'm real. While I was in the National Guard, they sent me to an abbreviated sniper course, and it wasn't the top tier one, but to me. It was SEAL Team 6.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because real snipers were teaching it.
Right.
And so it's just an abbreviated course, and you start learning about minute of angle and mil dots, and what people really don't understand, it's not squeezing the trigger, it's estimating the distance.
Right.
And now technology is so, but you're trying to use like football method and all this other football field method and all this stuff. If you know the range of the target, anybody can hit it. I mean, those weapons are so precise. We were using, it was, I believe, the M24 Remington 700s. And, with a, free-floating barrel, and for that period of time, that was 1994, 1995 and stuff. And so, my chief found out about it and said, hey, go get a weapon and everything, and, we want to have a sniper. I had one day where I thought, this is it. Well, actually, I had more than one. We had a guy who decided to rob our Pizza King.
In Brownsburg?
In Brownsburg. Yeah, one in Brownsburg.
Why? He wanted the train?
The train. Yeah, it just was like, folks, please, stay away from crime. But if you feel like thug life is for you, don't rob the local Pizza King on a Tuesday.
Right.
It's not going to get that Ocean's 11 score that you think it's going to. But
not even going to make the news.
I'm up on a bank roof. I'm exactly 99 and a half yards away from the front door. Easy shot. And I got to say that our SWAT commander who was also my roommate at the police academy
right.
now. So, we've all grown up. And he lays down our rules of engagement, but he doesn't give me mine. And I'm like, hey, if he breaks the plane to the front door with that shotgun, am I clear to engage? And he goes, what are you saying? I go, if he walks through the front door with a shotgun, do you want me to kill him?
Right.
And he goes, no. And I go, okay, if he walks through the front door with the shotgun and shoots the clerk, the news is coming to you. And I got to hand it to him. He said, Pete, that's my job. And I'm like, wow, okay, so, he's got my back. Mm-hmm. Old boy shows up with the shotgun. And one of his friends gave him up. That's how we knew he was showing up that night. And there's 3.5 pounds of trigger squeeze, which means if I sneeze, that thing's going.
Right.
And I'm taken away too. And the team's working up on him, and he doesn't look like he knows what he's going to do. And then he put the shotgun down, and I about crapped myself. I came off of that trigger just, God,
the adrenaline rush on that must be
unmatchable.
unmatchable. That's unmatchable.
And I'm so glad he put it down.
Right.
I'm so glad I didn't have to drop him. And then another time, I was actually set up in a cemetery with crosshairs on this guy's head who had shot and killed, I think it was his girlfriend or his wife in Lebanon, Indiana. Okay. And the pursuit just happened to end in Brownsburg. And I'm all set up and ready to go, and negotiator talked him down. He did an amazing job. And,
wow.
Scratch that one. But, yeah, every other time it's meth labs and, meth labs and bushes.
How you feeling?
Pretty good.
The nighttime sniffly Stevie coffee they made stuff you had me so you could rest medicine, right?
Exactly.
Well, everything that I had ever read about that, which I don't have any real world experience, but you being the most senior member, isn't that why you're put in that spot where you're catching pneumonia and everybody else is doing everything because you're more aware of? Does that make sense?
I wouldn't say that. It really wasn't a highly sought after position. The sniper position is really kind of boring. The guys hitting the doors, they're the ones
right.
And I've done both, and I'll tell you, that uncertainty of we're all well trained, we're all well equipped, but we don't know what's going to happen when we go through this door. I mean, that's the rush. And,
no, I don't doubt that, but I just mean you're going to keep the cool head. You're going to.
No, somebody found out that he was a sniper, went to sniper school and said, "There's our guy," and you're like, "Shit, why did I put that on my resume?"
That was absolutely amazing. Best thing in the world to me is being a dad.
Right.
Sure.
And the first time my oldest child opened his eyes, I grew up so much in that moment where I was like, wow, he's going to be looking at me to model his life. And, we got some work to do here. And this was, while I was still working with Capitol Police. And so we moved to Brownsburg just in time for him to start school, which was, the schools there are just
schools are great, yeah.
Yes. And then my daughter was born. And then the final contestant, actually the only one we ever planned, he came around in 1999. And then a couple years after that, me and the missus got divorced, and I got custody of the kids. And I got the kids, she got the van. It was real civil. I used to act all hardcore, like the divorce didn't bother me. But there were some nights I'd wake up in tears, really missing that van. So
right.
I get it.
Yeah, it's a good-looking van.
Down by the river.
Yeah, it's got flames on it. And
it's better than an El Camino. Kyle's got an El Camino.
There you go.
That's what he got.
That's what I got, right.
And it was absolutely amazing. My kids have turned, and my ex-wife, who I'm dating now, she was always there. She was always a part of their life, and but she was no longer forced to, engage with the kids when she wasn't ready to. And so everybody got to relax, and everybody, did really well. But then about 9 years ago, I had my last official fight in the ring, and it went really well for me. It was a straight-up boxing match, and I dominated, got a unanimous decision at the end. And my kids were like, Dad, you got way too many wrinkles on your ass to keep climbing in that ring. you really need to find a new hobby. So I started doing stand-up comedy.
That makes sense to me. I mean, that seems a natural progression to me.
Yeah.
I just whipped that guy's ass. You know what was really funny about that?
This will be dynamite in the clubs.
And immediately just got so much out of it. Just being able to take people from a dark point and and just get them laughing in. And I used to do that on the job too. You just got to be careful with humor.
Right.
Because, this might not be the moment for it. But then, I found a couple times where, throw out a little levity into this.
Sure.
So,
break some tension.
I went to Crackers in Broad Ripple at the time. And I started doing open mic nights. And a lot of people really loved my stuff. And then, lo and behold, they start hiring me to do wedding receptions and Christmas parties and seminars and stuff like that, and absolutely amazing. And I got to say, I've only had one kind of go south on me. Unfortunately, it was my oldest child's wedding reception. My oldest son Zach came to me and was like, "Hey, Dad, I want you to do a comedy bit for my wedding reception." And I'm like, "Are you sure, son? Because this could go off the rails."
Could be bad.
And
perfect guest for this podcast.
Right.
And he goes, "Dad, I want you to be you." Okay, so I'm dating my ex-wife at that time and stuff. So
with her dad's permission.
Exactly. So I start that evening right off with, "Hey, folks, it's such an honor to be a part of my oldest child's wedding, especially since he was the main reason for my wedding."
That didn't get laughs?
Oh, it did.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that's a funny
not
one.
from the father-in-law.
That one took a second to kind of sink in. And then I followed that gem up with, "Hey, folks, a lot of you know that me and Michelle, my ex-wife, are back together again," and everybody starts applauding. And I go, "Yeah, you could say a lot of bad things about me that are probably true, but you can't say I don't take recycling serious."
That's great shit, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you know who didn't like that joke?
Your wife?
Yeah, she's getting Fogo de Chow's tomorrow.
Oh, so this was recent.
So, no. She'll bring it up.
Yeah, right.
Be, "Are you taking me out tomorrow, or are we recycling again?"
Right.
Well, it's just a good Costello to your habit. There you go,
Right.
man.
That's great.
She's really good about it. And when we got back together, I'm like, "Hey, look, the 4 strokes have been my bread and butter here for a while,
Yeah.
So don't expect that to change, I always throw out that, hey, after we separated, the kids always thanked me for staying behind, for still being there after she walked out. And I never had the heart to tell them that she was just faster at getting out the door.
Right.
So she blinked first.
You get chased by a bear. You don't have to be the fastest one there. You just can't be the slowest.
Exactly.
You know what's funny? You say that because you and I are a lot. You're great at the smart ass probably on key, man. Somebody starts something and you just bang, bang, bang. Your one-liners, you could drop them.
Barber.
I'm not bad at that. Same barber.
There it is.
Got dynamite drop in, Monty. But my wife has had to learn that too. That we're in public, and I do a lot of that stuff too, where I'll be talking, and she will become the brunt, of one of my jokes or something like that. And it wasn't always great, but now she's kind of like, okay, and everybody will go, "Man, he must be so funny to live with." And she's like, "Yeah, I roll my eyes a lot." That's her quote to go on. She's like, "Yeah, it gets old. It gets really old." So to be married, be out of it, and get back into it, and her to be like, "Well, shit, this is him for better or for worse, man."
Right.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
My favorite target for comedy is me.
Right.
And it's so wonderful. The more messed up your life is, the better you're at, and that's why they're getting disabled veterans to start doing comedy, and they do amazing. The last one I did in Broad Ripple was off the chart. 4 guys carry a quadriplegic up on stage. One guy holds him on the chair while the other one holds a mic, and he killed it, just slayed it. It was so beautiful. And he starts right off with, everyone's always saying, wow, man, it's got to be so rough being disabled. 4 guys just carried me up on stage. He goes, it's the easiest thing in the world. I can't imagine having to do stuff for myself. And it was just absolutely amazing.
Sounds like my dad.
Yeah, that's right.
My dad's quadriplegic.
But yeah, you got to
You got to make it. You got to be able to joke about yourself in that situation, right?
Right.
I'll throw another one out there. When I did a comedy bit in Bloomington, this special forces operator named Stube, who works a lot with the Wounded Warrior program, and I wish I think I've got his business card on my phone, but I remember Stube. He got shot through the abdomen with a 50 cal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, blew his guts out.
Out.
Yes. So he's on the helicopter holding himself together and motions to the crew chief. And the crew chief gives him that look of, oh, man, this is going to be one of those, tell my folks I love them, tell my kids I was brave. They were on my mind when I died and stuff. And Stube said as soon as the crew chief got close to him, he grabbed his collar and said, when I get back to my unit, I'm going to tell everyone you tried to touch my junk. And he said, you've got to have a dark sense of humor to get through those dark times.
Right.
And he said he learned this from his dad, who was in the Navy for like 30 years. And he said, as a matter of fact, when his dad came to visit him at the hospital, the first time he walked through his, hospital door, he goes, well, we know you're not going back to Afghanistan. You don't have the guts anymore.
You don't have the guts.
And I'm just like, wow. And that guy wasn't even there to be funny.
Right.
He was there to talk about the Wounded Warrior program. And just, absolutely loved it.
Well, the best ones I've heard lately are honestly a little person. I saw a guy online that was he has MS or something, and he's a little person. And the first thing he says is, "All right, let's get it out of the way. I am biracial," and he's just a white little person, with MS. And I thought, that's pretty good, man. Get him going right away. So all the anxiety because when somebody gets up there, everybody's like, man, do I laugh? You go through that a little bit, and for somebody, that's like you said, man, you make fun of yourself, and everybody goes, it's a safe spot, it's a safe place, let's go.
Absolutely.
I can match it a little. A couple years ago, my dad, like I said, he's quadriplegic, has been for 47 years now. A couple years ago, they took one of his legs, and we're standing in the hospital room right before they wheel him back, right? And I said, hey, my brother and I, hey, we're going to go get some lunch. We'll be here, when you come back out. And he's like, okay, no parrots, and nobody buys a fucking boat. And still, when we go over to the house, it's, permission to come aboard.
That is awesome.
So, yeah, that same sense of humor, you have to laugh at it.
It's true. And what sucks is in this day and age, sometimes the comedy, people forget it's comedy. Like if you start talking about stuff and you're like,
man.
How can you're this or you're that? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian, guys. Are you kidding me?
Don't worry. If you do comedy, don't even worry about it. It's some people wake up looking for something to be offended.
Right.
Just to be a victim. But no, I like talking about my high school years, and you guys are looking at me like, yeah, man, I bet Pete was really slinging D back in the day.
Hell yes. That's actually the first thing I thought. Well, I pulled in the parking lot, that guy's throwing it to everybody.
That's not what I thought.
Not what you thought?
I can see it now.
Truth be told, my folks had enrolled me in the FBI's virginity protection program. And, those guys, they did an amazing job. Nobody got close.
I was scared. Get away. Me too.
Cooties.
My mom said that you guys have cooties. No, that's funny. No, that's good stuff.
So life. And again, I was a cop in Brownsburg. I wasn't hitting the hard streets of Chicago,
right?
Anything like that. So you'd have like 4 or 5 moments of excitement a year, and that's gone up quite a bit now. Back then, just it was enough action to keep me happy, and then COVID hits.
Yeah.
And I was doing public relations at the time and just loving it. I was doing summer camps. I was doing self-defense programs. I was doing Explore, events and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm locked down and just went into this state of depression. My career was under fire at that time. Cops were, no longer respected or anything. And so I drank for 4 days. And I'd get up in the morning, I'd have some coffee, I'd do like a crappy workout, and then I would just start drinking. On the 5th day, I woke up and was just absolutely furious with myself. I was like, dude, you're never going to have this kind of time again. Dump the booze, put myself on this just amazing, disciplined regiment where I was writing, reading, I'd practice Spanish, I'd play some piano, and I would just, I'd spend hours just writing. And I wrote my first book, Caged. Actually knocked it out in about 3 weeks.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, it had the story. The story was done in 3 weeks.
Okay. I was going to say, that's impressive.
If you're going to write, you've got to have that honest friend who is going to tell you this is a piece of crap. And I got that guy. His name's David Pyatt. Absolutely amazing. And I gave him that, and in one day, he read it in one day, and he goes, "All right, Pete, this is the greatest thing ever written by a 4th grader. Let's go find you.
Let's find some 2-syllable words.
Let's find some editing." And
This is 180 pages run-on sentence.
There we go.
Sounds like Seuss. You making all this shit rhyme?
Yeah, exactly. So I got an editor, and she introduced me to the what are those adjectives?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Descriptive.
Wait, what?
They describe.
Okay.
No, again, then got it cleaned up and self-published it because I was no patience for waiting for an agent or anything.
Right.
So I started getting it out there, and people loved it. Absolutely loved it. And that's actually loosely based on an afternoon when I worked 2 fatality accidents in one afternoon.
Wow.
And a lot of bodies that day. And I just, what if that? So the book is actually about a sheriff's deputy in Nevada gets called to a fatality accident, can't handle what he sees. He walks off, starts directing traffic like nothing's happening. I got another guy who's trying to handle his anger issues by cage fighting, a lady and her son trying to escape an abusive relationship, and then I got a rich guy trying to make amends for something horrible he did. I bring all the characters together, stuck the landing. All my readers cry. Like I was saying earlier, I had a drill sergeant buddy who cussed me out because he read it on the plane and had to go to the bathroom. He said, I was in there for a half hour just crying my eyes out.
I got to read it. I'm going to read that one for sure.
Angel Templar was my second one, and it's actually loosely based on, what gave me the idea was the shooting I was involved in at the city market.
Okay.
I've got a former Army Ranger medic who is now a paramedic in a small town and finds himself right in the middle of an active shooter.
Oh, wow.
Which, unfortunately, isn't such a...
it's not a leap anymore.
Unfortunately. And in this one, I was actually used phenomena known as third man syndrome or third man factor.
Okay.
And there are hundreds of these cases where, from Charles Lindbergh to the last guy that made it out of the towers at 9/11, who said that, there was a voice or somebody came to them or, some spiritual form, something happened.
Right.
And sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's just audio, sometimes it's just visual. But I end the book by bringing up all those. But my main character, under stressful situations, he sees this apparition. And, so he's trying to figure out, hey, why is this going on? And I love putting the reader in the escape room.
Oh, right.
I love having plots and subplots. So just in case they figure some of them out, hey, there's always something
more.
To keep them working. That one, I've got people who say that's their favorite one. I love Caged. I think I just had such a heavy emotional tie to that book. But, I got a lot of people where they loved Angel Templar, and they're like, we want more. And then I wrote Before They Were Monsters, which the idea for this came about while I was doing foster care and Big Brother programs.
Okay.
And I tried to get some other guys on board with the Big Brother program, and a couple of them were like, hey, Pete, if these kids make a false accusation about me, my reputation is destroyed. Even if I prove it to be false, it's done. And, and what really ticked me off is they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But I said, okay, what if this kid turns out to be something horrible and we had an opportunity to be something positive in their life?
Right.
And that's what the book is about. It's about a guy who had an opportunity to be a positive influence in a lot of lives. He didn't do it, and what happens to them and how it comes back on him.
Oh, wow.
Well, I start that book off with a African proverb that I read in 2019, and it is just going to blow you away. It still gives me chills every time I say it, and that is, when you don't allow a young man into the tribe, he will burn the village down to feel its warmth.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow. That's
That gave me
powerful.
chills. That actually just went up my
Yeah.
So
That's great. No, that's everyone. See, I'm always on a quest to find something that's entertaining, right? And the 3 books you've described are like nothing that I've ever read before. Now I'm excited. I'm excited because once I find something, I read the Kelly Turnbull books, and I'm into the 3rd one, and I'm like, wow. And it is cool when you pick it up and you can't put it down. I can see where you've kind of screwed yourself here, man. You're probably gonna have to write now for the rest of your life. That's awesome. I mean, that is all. I can't wait. I can't wait to read them. And if anybody out there has read them, hit us up. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let us know what you thought, man. Put it in the comments. Do a review. It'd be great, man. You'd be open for that, right?
Oh, yeah, please.
I mean, that'd be great.
There are 2 places to find my book, Amazon.com.
Amazon. That's where I found it.
Just put Pete Fleck in there, and all 3 of my books will pop up, and the other place is the trunk of my car, like we're making a crack deal or something like that.
Right.
So, going out there. But
you did do comedy, so you were selling merch, man, right out of the back of your trunk.
Hell yes.
But no, I love it. My comedy makes people laugh. My books make them cry. I had nightmares writing this 3rd one. Just a lot of anxiety. I had dreams where the characters came to me and said, "Why would you do all these horrible things to us? You could have given us any kind of life." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." But I called my editor and I was like, "Hey, I've got to finish this book. I'm having massive anxiety. I'm having nightmares. This book is really under my skin." And she said, "Pete, that's fantastic. That means it's a good book." And I go, "Oh, I was worried about my mental trauma, but as long as we can sell
as long as you can sell a couple $100 bucks,
yeah, fantastic.
I feel like it's worth it.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine."
Yeah.
No, that's interesting you said that. My wife's a teacher, and she teaches at a school that, it's got some issues. And we take our kids over there for Christmas and stuff like that, and just, I can see what you're talking about with the big brothers and big sisters, man. A lot of these kids are single-parent homes, moving around a lot, switching apartments and stuff like that. And man, you look at them, and sometimes, and you're just like, God, they don't even know. I just want them to have a chance, and I can't wait to read that one too. I keep saying that, but I can't wait to read that because I'd be willing to bet the emotion you put into that is the same that I feel when I walk into that school a lot of times, and I see their faces and they're so happy, and you have no idea what they're going home to, and that's what scares you to death.
I started doing foster care, and it came about almost like accidentally. My kids grew up and they'd start moving out, and other kids would just move in.
Right.
And it got to the point I had one of my ex-wife's nephews living with me. And I come home and he goes, "Hey, Uncle Pete, some kid walked in about 20 minutes ago. I didn't recognize him, but he acted like he belonged here." And I'm like, "Well, make sure he gets a sandwich if you see him again," because I had plenty of space and nothing worth stealing. Right. So, absolutely.
You're the poster guy.
Yeah. Wife's got the van, so what the hell?
Yeah.
If you can find the van, you can have it.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Had this one kid named Ryan. Ryan's at my house for 2 weeks, and he's good friends with another kid, Daniel, who lived with me off and on for almost like 15 years. But so Ryan's there for 2 weeks, and I'm like, "Dude, are you going home?" And he goes, "I kind of like it here." And I'm like, "I don't think it works like that, bro." Turns out it works like that.
Right.
And I call his mom, and sadly, I'm telling her, "Hey, in case you're wondering where your kid's been for the past 2 weeks, he's been staying with me. He'd like to do that on a more permanent basis until you can get yourself together." And she goes, "Oh, that would be wonderful." Okay, I've never met this lady. I'm like, "Do you want to know what I do for a living? Do you want to ask any questions?" So anyway, so Ryan's with me for about 6 months, and then CPS calls. And they're like, "Hey, we're looking for Ryan so-and-so." And I go, "Well, look no further. He's been staying with me for 6 months." And they go, "Well, how are you related to him?" I go, "Well, I'm not. He's a friend of Daniel." And they go, well, how are you related to Daniel? I go, well, I'm not. Kids just show up here. And so they came over, had to do an inspection. I was already certified, had my foster care certification, so they just officially put him in the system. He stayed with me 7 years.
Wow.
And it was great because all of them were about the same age. My youngest, and then like Daniel and Ryan, then some other kids would kind of trickle in. So right before they started moving out, I had 3 19-year-old young men living at the house. Best designated drivers ever, gentlemen. Right there.
Right.
Now, don't leave the keys in the car with them. Okay, when you go into the wherever the bar, because no, I'm kidding, but.
You guys wait here. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah. How long is it going to be? You just wait.
All you need is a blanket, a book, a flashlight, and a bottle of water.
Right. You're good.
You're not in Bosnia. You're going to be all right. No, and it was just an incredible honor. And what I really love, every Father's Day, Ryan is the first one to call me.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
And they're all doing amazing. All those kids are doing amazing.
Man, you have got. I mean, I could do this all day. We're gonna have to get him. You're gonna have to come
absolutely.
back.
You're definitely gonna have to come back.
And if we didn't get to everything, man, we got to.
Well,
get that.
are you shitting? I mean,
yeah, we're not. I know there's a ton more.
We got hours
to peel back. Man, your life is exciting. It's really interesting. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, a lot of times we're just flying by the seat of our pants, and we have some serious issues. We do, or some serious episodes, but
yeah, like, is this a rash?
Is this a rash?
Does it look like a rash?
Who is that?
Listening to your guys' podcast really drew me to you. I was like, these guys just get together and they just talk and like, oh man, okay, yeah, this is really, you're not looking for the yearbook answer.
Right. We don't stay on point very often. That's but it's awesome to have, and we welcome people, but we haven't had the response of people coming in and say, yeah, man, I've got a story to tell. I know I've heard your name before. I know we talked about that off air. It may have been the comedy. There's something there that I've heard the name when I really thought about it. I'm gonna have to go back and go through my 50-year-old brain here and try to figure out how that was. But appreciate you coming on, Pete. It is. Tell us again. Do you have a website or anything?
I have a website, PeteFleckBooks.com.
Okay.
Amazon.com. Just put in Pete Fleck, or please, find me on Facebook. I think that's Peter Fleck going by.
Okay.
The name Mom gave me.
Or a 2015 green Impala in the parking lot. You can get a book out of the back of the car.
If you can find him on the street, you can grab his book. You can grab his book. He'll be in Brownsburg tooling around selling books.
Right.
Yeah, most people are on the corner, asking for stuff. Pete's passing out his book. I love it. But no, man, definitely this is the reason that I really enjoy doing this is learning the stuff that you're talking about. I mean, I would have never guessed talking to you in the parking lot that it was this awesome, man. Awesome.
Oh,
not to take anything away from you. I thought you were a good guy out there, but man, I mean, the intensity you have about what you talk about and the passion, from the military to the foster to your ex-wife. It's just, I can tell you're a hell of a guy with a big heart, and you've made it. And I can't wait to read your stuff, man. And we are definitely going to have you back on because I know there's some more great shit in there.
Thank you, guys. Very kind.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Pete.
Well, thank you.
That's it for today's episode. But before you go, ask yourself this. What's your unplanned story? Because here on Unplanned Approach, we don't script the chaos. We celebrate it. Real people, real moments, real life plot twists that no one saw coming. Whether it was a chance encounter, a missed train, or a wild pivot that changed everything. We want to hear it. Got a story that deserves the mic? Hit us up. Submit yours at unplannedapproach.com or find us on socials at unplannedapproach. Until next time, stay spontaneous, stay real, and never underestimate going in without a plan. This is Unplanned Approach, where the detour is the destination.